Most lawyers who join our company, they're usually between the 100K to $1 million mark.
Mm-hmm.
But when they come in, minimum expectation is we help them double their law firm within 12 months.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I have a great guest for us today. It's Sam Mollaei of Legal Funnel. Sam, how you doing, man?
Very good. Very good. Super excited to be here, Brian.
I'm glad that we're finally able to connect. We're both two busy guys who had to keep rescheduling this conversation. So, Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background as a lawyer and then as a legal tech entrepreneur now.
So I became a lawyer 8 years ago, but in my first year I had a lot of time on my hands, so I was reading a lot of books. One of those books that I read was Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek book, where I got exposed to key principles like virtual, automation, and scale. So I quickly basically made a rule to myself that I'm going to build an automated, virtual, and scalable law firm. Fast forward, skipping a lot of stories in between, but fast forward, I've been able to duplicate this systems of automation, scalable, and virtual across 7 different law firms of my own, some that I have partners in. And at the same time, 3 years ago, I started a journey of teaching this to other lawyers. Other lawyers can also grow their own scalable and automated law firm.
Your practice started at least in California. Are you still based out of LA?
I'm physically based in LA, but a lot of things that I do are either multi-state or national, or sometimes even California based, which is pretty much the toughest market that you could be in. So sometimes if I kind of test things out in California, if I see that it's working, then I go and try to see if I can extend to multi-state.
It's just like New York. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, right? Your 7 different law firms. What kind of areas of law are you in?
Lemon law, employment law, property damage, class actions, business law, IT services, pretty much anything under the sun. I've tested it all. But the one lesson that I did learn from this experience of doing it for 7 law firms is it's just much better to go deeper into one certain practice type. So right now, even though I've been running 7 for the last 2 or 3 years, I'm looking to consolidate in 2023 and bring it down to 3 and 4 and go deep, go hard into the top ones.
And is there a strategic reason that you chose to do 7 different law firms instead of 7 practice areas under one law firm?
Yeah, because each one is its own world. Each one has its own practice type. So that one is its own client source, its own automations, its own teams, its own infrastructure, basically. So everything's completely on its standing on its own. The teams don't know each other. They don't even know who's who, and the people don't even know what else I'm doing.
Wow.
But a lot of it has a lot of automations. So once you set up the client generation, it's coming in. Then we have our team who handles setting up the clients. Then once they're signed up, and then hand it off to our onboarding team. Then from that to the document collection team, and that to the people that do the filings for us. And then from that to the attorneys, and then we review collection, and then all that is pretty much created. Great, it's running. Now let's go create the next one. I've been able to kind of duplicate the process.
And as the owner, how much time are you spending in any one of those firms?
It requires having a dedicated manager, or I call them a director. So each law firm, that's the one commonality, has a dedicated director who's in charge of growing the law firm. And I basically meet with directors. And that's where most of my time goes. Basically internal meetings with the higher ends, the directors and managers, and then the directors managers basically manage the managers, and then the managers are basically managing the day-to-day operators.
Mm-hmm. And so you built out 7 different firms, but I imagine much of the structure and much of the document generation and the way the leads are handled is the same, although with different, sort of intake scripts, obviously from the employment law to the property damage law. How much of what you're doing is replicatable and duplicatable across different areas of law? And then how often are you having to reinvent the wheel as you pop up law firm 8, 9, 10?
That's actually a very good point. That was the big epiphany for me. Once you see it being built once, and I realized 80-90% of it is more or less the same kind of thing either way. There's qualifying questions, there's signing up teams, everything is more or less the same. My mentor calls it tomatoes. Essentially, it doesn't matter what you're selling, what you're offering. It's the same thing. You have a market of people that have problems. How do you get them down the funnel to get them signed up, serve them, rinse and repeat?
And then what's your process for identifying and partnering with a subject matter expert in each of those areas? Because for instance, employment law is very different in California than it is in Nevada, than it is in Louisiana. I imagine maybe you do, maybe you don't, but you have cases coming in from all over the place, and you haven't gone and become the expert in the law in any one of those areas, probably. So how do you identify somebody who's a good partner for you to work with and vet them and make sure that the clients are getting good service?
For sure. It's definitely strategic. Everything is strategic. That means we're pinpointing exactly what's working and we know the numbers. That's one thing. Second is the partners that we partner up with are people that are looking to scale. That means they're not looking to be a day-to-day operator. They're looking to kind of build the systems behind the things, be able to hire quickly, build a lot of automations so that be able to kind of grow exponentially really fast. I've started some law firms that basically were based on people that were involved didn't understand the whole scale model. They were basically wanted to be the day-to-day. I'm like, then that's totally fine too. Not everybody's law firm's goal should be growth and scale. But for us, basically that's where we realize that's where we want. That's where we want to be. We want to serve a bigger market. We want to grow quickly. It's a lot more challenging, but it's also a lot more fun.
Take me through a failure. What kind of practice area have you tried to operate that didn't work for you?
I don't consider anything as a failure, but I do deal with.
Take me through a life lesson then.
Right. These days, there's two big things that happen all the time, which I'm so used to it now. One is I get copied left and right because pretty much I figure out what works, and then lo and behold, everything is out there and people start basically trying to duplicate it. It's a good thing to get copied, but at the same time, something that I do have is a lot of data. So I'm sitting on a lot of data that becomes my competitive advantage. So that's one thing. Second thing is when you're doing hardcore client generation, you're kind of at the mercy of the platforms that you use. So these days, like literally at any point, anything could be taken away from you. So what that led me to do is diversify across the multiple platforms and being very proactive about doing that. So, multiple platforms, multiple campaigns, multiple kind of sources so that if anything goes down, which they do all the time, and actually it's something that I kind of coach our members. Things happen, it's all good. Let's fight through it. Let's try to appeal it. Let's try a different angle. Let's try different accounts, different things like that. But we just have to kind of grind through and just, tackling it head on.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're a lawyer and you're looking to work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life, right below this video, you'll find a link to book a call to speak to my team so we can tell you how we've been able to help over 500 law firm owners scale their law firm. Now back to the video.
And so you mentioned coaching members. You have coaching program or mastermind program. Also, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. It's for law firm owners that are growth oriented, that want to be strategic. The tagline is right behind me. I know it's backwards. It says work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life. So let's talk about that. So it's for lawyers who want to work smart. That really comes down to, again, being strategic. That means kind of like being very effective with your time, doing things that are scalable, and kind of basically, doing a little bit to get a lot of output. The second part is scaling fast. Scale just means be able to grow fast. Fast is also a very important word. A lot of people that want things, but they don't want it done quickly enough, or they don't implement things quickly enough. So I kind of get you in the right mindset of quick implementation. And the third part is the first two kind of leads to enjoy life. Ultimately, I don't think life is about money. I think it's just a tool. It's a way for us to be able to do what we want to do. Some people like to spend time with their family, go on trips, whatever that is. Ultimately, those are the first two are the tools to get us to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, Sam, that you have behind you is 4 very nice plaques. Are those all 2 Comma Club plaques from ClickFunnels?
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know what these are, if you guys are watching me on YouTube, if not, if you're on a podcast, you can check them out or just go Google 2 Comma Club. It's an award given by ClickFunnels, which is a very popular SaaS service for building funnels and systems for basically generating customers and clients online. I was able to receive it from my first law firm for generating $1 million online. And when I kind of set it up and I got the results, for my first law firm, it took me about 5,000 clients for me to make $1 million. But when I set that up, I'm like, I could probably repeat this. So I went and replicated it for my second law firm. Then at the same time, I'm like, hey, I could teach this to other lawyers. So I went on the journey teaching to other lawyers. So I was able to receive it for that for that project. And then also I was able to replicate it for my third law firm. So I've been able to basically take the same concept and do it over and over. But what's cool about it is now our members are receiving these awards for applying the same concepts. We had Chad, who's a criminal defense lawyer. Most lawyers who join our company, they're usually between the $100K to $1 million mark. Mm-hmm. But when they come in, minimum expectation is we help them double their law firm within 12 months. It usually takes time. It's not instant. It doesn't take weeks. It's usually more than a couple of months. I would say good amount of time is about 12 months plus. But if you stick with our program and you chip away, you're slowly, you're basically adding on 10% here, 5% here, 10% here. And then you look back 12 months later, you're like, wait a minute, I just doubled my law firm and I just became a case study for this program.